The current state of the film industry is mid-AF. You got a bunch of money-hungry studios just churning out garbage sequel after garbage sequel. I still love you, despite your flaws. So like any egotistical maniac, I thought I could do better and make films that build and improve upon each other to create a cohesive and impactful experience for the viewer. And then I was like, that's for losers. I'm gonna bump out just a bunch of hideous garbage. I'm going to start my own studio and produce 100 terrible movies within the game, The Movies. I need to build my studio with cheap, ununionized labor, hire stars that are clones of each other, and produce my first movie. My new film, my first film, is called Baggage Boy. Basically, it is a guy who just lifts a heavy weight. I love it. This is a series that I'm going to milk until its udders are dry. Upon its grand premiere, it received generally good reviews, such as this one that was glowing. The performances in this film were universally abysmal. I think they liked it. But more importantly, the film was a financial success, making me roughly 11 times its budget. The meta was established. Instead of coming up with original ideas for each sequel, I'm just gonna use the exact same plot and scenes for each movie. I'll just change a few things each movie. I hired more wannabe celebrities to direct these movies and went into full production mode, churning out terrible sequels like transphobic statements from J.K. Rowling. But I discovered something that made my inner capitalist scream, "Oh boy!" You see, normally in this game, you need a director and an actor, or actors, to make a movie. But if you remove the actor while writing the script, then go to cast the movie, it will allow you to replace the main role with an extra who you can pay significantly less. So, the meta was redefined. I continue to make repetitive sequels, changing costumes or backgrounds occasionally to keep the audiences guessing, and most importantly, buying tickets. We even made some truly beautiful movies like Baggage Boy 9, The Final Chapter. I mean, it's just a white gorilla lifting some weights in space. As the drunk man next to me during Thunder over Louisville in my youth loudly exclaimed, "That is some purty shit." I was beginning to understand why studios in real life make countless sequels. It's because the money was piling up, and soon I had made over $1 million. Which in the 1930s was worth, I don't know, I don't want to look it up, but you know, with inflation it was a nice chunk of change, probably enough to buy at least 2 Dr. Peppers. Within the next few months, my movie making meta was going to change once more. A bit of context. I have been playing this game for a long time, pretty much since it came out in the mid-2000s. However, I discovered a new to me feature that I was unaware of in my many hours of playing. When writing a script, there is a button on the side to add prompts. I kinda went crazy with this. Every shot and every film was ruined by prompts, or made better depending on your outlook. I made movies where you could only see the actor's head, movies where you can't even see the actor, and you know, whatever this is. I did everything in my power to make these movies as unenjoyable as possible for audiences. I even added sound effects to my movies to completely ruin the viewing experience. Like this one, where an alarm clock goes off the entire time. Oh, you didn't like that one? How about this one where someone is crying the entire time? Despite all of this, people kept watching them and I doubled my money. Oh yeah, and all of this time, I was releasing movies out of order too. Since these are sequels, audiences are missing important context for these movies. So I continued to release wacky movies with tons of obstructive props, sound effects, and releasing them out of order was also pretty fun too. Until I discovered something. I could make movies without actors or extras. There's a scene type called static, which is just a shot of a blank wall. Oh boy, did I love this. I made several movies where nothing happens, like literally just nothing, it's just a blank shot of the background. These movies were super cheap to produce, and the audiences kept paying to see them. Like, yeah, sure, give me your money. Making these static shot movies got boring to me after a while. I desired to find a new way to make terrible movies. So I pondered, what was more boring than watching a movie where it's just a static shot of a background? Reading a book. Blech. We an illiterate gang here. But what was more boring than reading a book? Watching a movie about someone reading a book. So I wrote a script for Baggage Boy 61. Fun! In this exciting, groundbreaking film, it was 10 scenes of someone reading a book. They weren't narrating, they weren't reacting to the book, they were just reading it. And I made more than a handful of these. After the book meta, I continued to make some more wacky movies, like Baggage Boy 70, where a ninja sells babies from a hot dog stand in the desert. You know, silly whimsical things like that. My studio production machine kept producing these sequels until we finally released Baggage Boy 100. We had put out so many terrible sequels, but we made over $7 million. By we, I mean I, as I don't profit share. It was time to do what any self-respecting studio would do, and call it quits on this franchise. But we don't have any self-respect here. We want to stack paper. So 200,000 scripts for a reboot of the franchise are ready, with 1 million more on the way. Baggage Boy is immortal. You know what isn't immortal? Organic life in the galaxy. If you want to see Elon Musk transform humanity into a robotic race and then proceed to go on a galactic crusade to extinguish all inferior organic life, click the video in the center of the screen.